Well, Joel Fitzgibbon is seen by some within Labor as a saviour and a straight talker, and others see him as an outspoken pain in their side. He's probably both. Either way, he will be a noticeable absence, for better or for worse. The MP's exit leaves his Hunter seat vulnerable, which Mr Fitzgibbon has held since 1996. He's also been a staple on this program, and I'm happy to say he joins us live once again. Joel Fitzgibbon, good to see you. So you're quitting. Why now?
Thanks, Laura. 50-50, I'll take the win. Look, I think the time is right. It's a good time for the party and it's the right time for me. I effectively made this decision on election night 2019 when the defeat was so devastating. I could not see us winning again in 3 years' time. And I've changed my mind a couple of times along the way. But I now feel very confident Labor can win the next election under Anthony Albanese, and I'm more confident than ever that Labor can hold the seat of Hunter without me, so I can make my exit stage left after 25 years in the Parliament, happy that my work has contributed to both success for Labor federally, but success for Labor here in the Hunter electorate as well.
Well, why would you quit if you really think that Labor's about to go into power?
No, it's pretty simple, Laura. I'll be 60 in January. I'd like to see what the next chapter holds for me. And basically, you know, it's a long time. And I don't think a fresh, younger face in Hunter will do us any harm either. Someone coming with fresh eyes. I'm enormously proud of my work here, my work nationally and my work internationally. The Hunter's economy is more vibrant than ever before, more diverse than ever before, stronger than ever before, and I don't take all the credit for that, of course, but I've worked hard with other political, business and community leaders, and I think we can all be proud of where the Hunter region is right now.
You almost lost this seat to One Nation at the last election. I don't need to remind you of that. Without you and without the benefit of incumbency, isn't that just a fait accompli this time around? It's only 3%.
Well, I've been on 3% before, actually, Laura, after the 2013 election, but bounced back. I don't take anything for granted. I'm not complacent, but I'm very confident our vote can only go one way from here, and that is north, as long as we continue with our very strong messaging on our support for the resources sector and in particular the coal mining sector. Anthony Albanese has been quite vocal. He visited a coal mine not long ago. He came here to the Miners' Union Delegates annual meeting and dinner not so long ago. I believe that miners appreciate that we've learned from our mistakes of the past. I do think the party had drifted too far to the left and took its focus off many who form our traditional base, but I think that lesson has been learned. And I think we're better placed now. But
you do know that without you and without the benefit incumbency, it's going to be really difficult. So who replaces you is a very big decision. Who should that be and who shouldn't it be?
Yeah, but you know, I've been around for a long time and I know just about everyone. Played footy here, ran a business here and the rest of it. But, you know, a fresh, younger face with new eyes can be an advantage as well. Sometimes people like me can start to suffer the disadvantage of incumbency, but we're blessed with a lot of good people. It's probably a risk to start naming them, but young Morgan Campbell, a local who's had experience in a political leader's office and worked for one of the prudential regulators. Stephen Ryan, a local barrister. Jeff Drayton, who of course ran for us in Upper Hunter, lost the seat but did an outstanding job. He was a great candidate. Young Emily Saval, a nurse and a trade union official. And Dan Rapopoli, a three-time Olympian and Commonwealth Games medal winner, also a coal miner, or was, now runs a substantial mining services business, which services the coal mining industry. He'd be an outstanding candidate too, so we've got plenty to choose from.
Yeah, it sounds like they're all pro-coal candidates. Is that what you're getting at?
I'm pretty confident the next candidate in Hunter Laura, for the Labor Party will be pro-coal. I think you can be pretty sure about that.
Well, you have been the one person, and there are more, that has kept Labor's climate change policy, or at least dragged them to the centre or the right, you might argue. Without you to do it there, without you there at the next election, who will take your place in keeping Labor in that position, do you think?
Oh, look, there are plenty of people in the Labor Party who recognise the importance of the coal mining sector, including Anthony Albanese. I think people have seen the light. I think we did drift too far to the progressive left. We did lose focus on many who formed our traditional base. So we need to go to the next election focusing on a couple of things, really, and keeping it simple. The first, of course, is the health and safety of people and their families. The second is their economic and job security, most important. And the third is backing their hopes and aspirations, both for themselves and, of course, very importantly, their children. If we can keep on message and take a sensible and meaningful approach to climate change, we'll be successful. Look, on climate change, can I say this, Laura? Now, these climate wars have to end. The best way to get meaningful action on climate change is to build a consensus in the sensible centre. Both of the major parties acknowledge climate change is a problem and a challenge. Both say they are committed to doing something about it. Yet these climate wars are perpetuated because some on both the right and the left see political advantage in keeping those wars going. I think there's a challenge for both the major political parties now to build a consensus, to take the community with us so we can take meaningful action on climate change without doing harm to these traditional jobs, recognising that the coal mining industry will be exporting to our Asian customers for decades to come.
Well, what is Labor's side of that bargain then? We don't know what Labor's climate change policy is going into this election. Do you know what it is? Has it been decided and just not announced? And you say that in the Hunter, but does that policy also speak to the inner city seats that you also need to retain to win government?
Well, we don't know what the government's climate change policy is either, Laura. One thing we should have a consensus on is the commitment to net zero emissions by 2050. Australia can get to that target without doing any harm to our economy because we are innovators and we can rely so heavily on technology to get there. So it's a great starting point. But it shouldn't be really hard to ensure that that Australia does its share on a proportional basis to make its contribution to the global effort without having this ongoing spat about it, which is only holding back our capacity to take meaningful action on climate change.
I've got a feeling that you might be out of Parliament, but maybe not disappearing off our screens altogether. So what next for you, Joel Fitzgibbon? Are you going to do a Martin Ferguson?
I don't expect to be a stranger, Laura. I mean, I've been in the public debate since my early 20s. I enjoy making a contribution and I hope to continue doing so. I don't have anything in particular in mind, except that I would like to work around 40 hours a week rather than 80 hours a week. My success has been very much, or in large part, due to the support and sacrifices of my family. I'd love a little bit more flexibility, not checking the parliamentary calendar every time a family get-together is being planned. That would be very nice, but I'll be kept busy. You can be pretty sure about that.
And you'll miss us, won't you?
I'll miss you all very much. I love the Parliamentary Press Gallery, Laura. It's probably the part I will miss most.
Okay, well, I don't want to end on a lie, so I'll ask you one final question. Do Labor's values still align with your own? And what would your dad say today?
Well, it was my dad and indeed my mum that encouraged me to dedicate myself to the Labor Party and all its ideals and objectives. There are a couple of things. Well, one thing really that I think still binds all members of the Labor Party, left, right or in the middle. And that's our determination to grow the economic cake, or if you can grow a cake, to enlarge the economic cake and to do all we can to make sure that cake is shared equally amongst our community to give. It's about equality of opportunity, about giving every young Australian the opportunity to fully participate and to be successful. And I hope all of us agree that policy settings have to be such that we give incentive to those aspirations.
And just finally, before we let you go, you don't want to endorse someone here this morning, do you?
No, that's I believe in strong community candidates, and that's a matter for the local membership of the party. But as I said, we have plenty of good people to choose from.
Yeah, you won't be leaving it to fate though, will you? You'll be trying to campaign for your favoured candidate?
I'm just one vote, Laura.
Okay. Joel Fitzgibbon, we'll speak to you soon.
Thanks very much.